Hey there, welcome to Pound Mind Central, your cozy corner where we chat about culture, creativity, and commerce over inspiring stories that'll get you thinking in fresh new ways. I'm thrilled to introduce you to today's amazing and beautiful guest, Nancy Konjo. Nancy's one of those incredible people who seems to pour her heart into everything she touches, from crafting beautiful puzzles to designing clothes that make statements. You might know her from Harmony Puzzles, where she beautifully weaves together music and mindfulness, or maybe you tried her heartwarming recipes in jollof to sweet potato pie. Perhaps you've seen her thought-provoking Konjo Apparel loungewear that gets people talking about important issues. Everything Nancy creates has a special way of touching people's lives. While she's not doing all that, though, she runs Banso Digital Market on Etsy, manages a wonderful Amazon storefront, and she's working on something really, really exciting, y'all, so stay tuned, an African job placement platform. Today, we'll chat about how she turns simple, everyday things into meaningful cultural conversations and how she juggles being true to herself while building these amazing ventures. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and join us for what's sure to be a fantastic conversation. Nancy, welcome to Pound Mind Central, and we are so happy to have you here. Let's give it up for Nancy, y'all. I am one of your co-hosts, Tutu, and along here I have my good sister girl, T. Therese, and then I have my other able co-host, AK. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. We're great. I asked for T and I.
Okay. How you doing? I'm good. I can't complain. You know, it's another Tuesday, blessed and highly favored. Like I said, happy National Day, y'all. To the Cameroonians. Woo! Okay, don't make that face. Don't do that.
I was doing this. My joy was coming. Wait, which one is this anyways? Is it Reunification or Independence? Which one is this one?
Unity Day.
Okay, Unity
Day. And y'all have Independence and Unity Day. But why y'all don't be making as much noise on Independence Day? When is Independence Day?
We do. I feel like we do. How many Cameroonians do you follow?
Me? I thought I follow a good amount, but I guess not.
It depends. Which Independence Day are you asking?
Wait, so when is the actual Independence Day?
Cameroon or Cameroon?
Oh, see?
Yeah, there's a lot of politics in Cameroon between French and English, and then it's just a lot. It's a lot.
Listen, look at me now. You guys are making me mess up my microphone because we're not going to go there. Let's just switch this topic right now, Beck. Let's just switch this topic, please. We are here to celebrate entrepreneurship. And anyways, Nancy, how you doing? Tell the people about you. Tell the people about you. Anything you want us to know, them to know.
Is Nancy new on Pound Mind?
Huh?
Is Nancy new on Pound Mind? I don't think she's new on Pound Mind. She's been a guest on.
She's been a guest on Stuck in the Middle.
Stuck in the Middle, yeah. Not
in the Middle podcast. Yeah. This is my first time, so thank you guys for having me. Anything I want to share specific to like what we'll be talking about today, or just about me in general? About
you in general, like who is Nancy? What makes you tick? How old are you? Things like that. I mean, you don't gotta say age. I'm just kidding, but things along these lines.
If Tayo was here, are you single? Are you searching? Okay, yeah, we could get into it. I don't mind. Nancy Konjo from Cameroon, 33, very, very single, very much searching. So if y'all have any references, send them my way. Just make sure they have some sense and some money. Okay, thank you so much. Let me see what else. I would say I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm someone career-wise who has done a lot of work in the nonprofit space, though. More specific, I know we were talking earlier, but more specific to grants management, fundraising management, development management for nonprofits. So that's like career experience, 9 to 5, but more heavily got into the e-commerce space last year and have just been going full throttle. But the goal with building out a lot of my stores and my e-commerce stores is to use that as like my own capital for the venture that you guys hinted at in the beginning, which is African job placement, which would serve as like an international staffing agency where I would place and repatriate people in the diaspora here in the US or other parts of the Western world back home to work with for-profit organizations or nonprofit organizations, whichever they choose. And yeah, that's the long-term goal. And so these platforms are just like a means to an end. And so yeah, I'm really on my serial entrepreneur journey right now. But yeah.
You forgot to also mention that she's an occasionally outside babe. That was my Ghana partner, y'all. We was outside in Ghana in life. Ghana.
I don't have any time for sure. For sure. It's all about balance, you know? You play, but you can get serious, but not have fun. So yeah. For sure.
Oh, great. Well, you look like you have your hands in many pots, like to say, literally. But let's start with your with harmony puzzle. Correct? Mm-hmm. That's how you say? Okay.
Harmony puzzles, yeah.
Okay. When I think puzzle, I don't think music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think entertainment. I just think, okay, put stuff together, literally, pictures.
Mm-hmm.
What inspired you to blend music and puzzle? And how do you select the different, what music genre to represent, or how, just give us an overview of what that looks like.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, in previously mentioning last summer, I started getting to the e-commerce space and was looking for like different products to sell. And one of the ones that stuck out to me was puzzles, just because it's something that I started getting into last year as well. And then I also have a background in theology and music. So I was a music major in undergrad. I studied music. And so I think it randomly crossed my mind to like merge the two together. And so that's kind of what started the process. But then I was trying to figure out, what about music I would want to incorporate into the puzzles. And so I was just like, I don't know, maybe something that's clearly visual, right? So, and like nostalgic for people. And so like music covers, music albums are like a good way to kind of, remember your favorite artists, or people use them as posters. Vinyls were a really big thing last summer too. So I think that's also how the idea of like album covers and artist visuals came to mind in terms of merging the two together. And then the selection process for genres is like intentional, but also spans across different genres. So there's a slight bias right now. I think most of my puzzles are mainly like classic, rhythm and blues, like soul, R&B, hip hop artists. But I also have some, country music artists in there, some rock artists in there, some, classic artists in there. But I plan to expand across genres. So it's not like I'm limiting myself to one specific thing. I want to make sure that our puzzles have impact across the board and can speak to any consumer, any buyer, and makes them feel connected when they're doing their puzzles. I don't want it to be specific to any genre. I want it to kind of touch on everything. So yeah, that's what inspired it, and that's kind of how I make the selection process.
Okay. I heard country, I heard hip hop, I heard classical music. I hear vinyl records. I did not hear African music.
Oh, listen,
is that something you're incorporated into how many puzzles that you're looking at it? What's the situation there?
Yeah, of course. So again, still spanning, still building across genres. So I'm not done building out like all the artists I'm going to have or build out on the platform. I initially started with something that I wanted to kind of be like a easy starting base for everybody, like using artists that I know that are more global artists, and then I would kind of niche down. So I started in terms of trying to get people's attention using like the Rolling Stones Best Albums guide, like across time, to select album covers that would speak to more people on a global scale or national scale more quickly. I know Afrobeats is like the new, like, what I'm saying, fan favorite, like new people are phasing into Afrobeats now, and it's becoming more popular, but I kind of wanted to like start from the top and then, niche down. But the goal is to eventually span into Afrobeats, my piano artist. Like, I'm not limiting myself at all. So I also offer customization with our puzzles. So if there is a specific artist that you don't see that you want me to make like a custom album portrait for, or like a personal portrait for, like, we can do that too. So there's a lot of range, there's a lot of flexibility, and nothing is limited with our puzzles. So yeah.
Okay. Well, seeing that you're still expanding on into different niche and different genre of music, how do you plan, or what is your goal in merging like culture, music, and puzzles? What is the end result look like for you?
Yeah, I think the goal for me, outside of just like getting people off their phones and like getting them to do, more mindful activities by themselves, with their loved ones, with their family members. As a music major, I would love to, like a previous music major, I would love to see Harmony Puzzles be like a household name in education spaces, music education spaces, music art spaces, mental health wellness spaces, or like, maybe community centers like for kids, so they can have, different types of like entertainment outside of, like you said, like the picturesque puzzles that people are used to. Just like something different, something more modern, something more relatable in classrooms, and like therapy centers and community centers would be like long-term like goal for Harmony Puzzles. So yeah, that's what I'm envisioning long term.
Let me not lie, and please nobody laugh. When you said music puzzles, my head went to audio, and I'm like, music puzzles. What?
Here we
How
go.
does how does that work? But I'm glad that you explained it, that it's more of the visual art piece of the
Mhm.
music puzzle. And you've made so many of them. You have a favorite design.
Oh, do I have a favorite design? I would say my top, my top three, which are my top three selling ones too, coincidentally, are the Dochi Alligator Bites album cover puzzle, the Beyonce Renaissance puzzle, which is very like, risque. I love that one. And then the Prince Purple Rain album cover puzzle. I would say those are my top three.
Is there any story behind those, or it's just because they're your top selling?
No, I would just say, as a music lover, like I appreciate some of the greats. Like, again, I was using that Rolling Stones like best albums of all time. I also have some other personal favorites. I'm like a classic R&B girl, classic music fan. So like Earth, Wind and Fire is another favorite album for me outside of like the puzzles.
Hmm.
Stevie Wonder. So I have some Stevie Wonder covers as well that are my favorite. But yeah, no, I'm a music lover, and I appreciate like the greats. So that's all it is.
So I know you probably most often don't get to see the end, what they call it, like the end goal of after you sell, someone buys your puzzle, you don't get to see what they do with it. But what kind of feedback have you gotten from people with this? Because I would say that it's a relatively new concept, right? This is the first time I'm hearing of a music meets puzzle type deal. What kind of feedback have you got from your customers and people that have actually purchased your product from you?
Yeah, so actually we do get feedback. You Once people put the puzzles together, some have actually taken pictures and sent it back. Currently we are based on the Etsy platform, and so people are actually able to leave like visual reviews, commentary reviews on their purchases. And so far I think we have at least 7 reviews with at least maybe 3 visuals attached to it. So if you want to see that before purchasing, just to feel, more comfortable, or get a better idea for what you're purchasing, you can see those on Etsy. And eventually the goal is to, maybe in the next few months, build out like an official website for Harmony Puzzles, so that people can, have direct access to reviews and not have to go on like a separate platform as well, and just keep, building out our consumer base there. And, any feedback or critiques or anything like that, very much open to it. But we actually do receive visual feedback, reports on how they liked it, who they gifted it to, whoever received it, how they felt about it. So, yeah, so that's something that's open for review on Etsy right now.
See, I kind of stalked your website a little bit before this episode. And one thing that came to mind for me with putting the puzzle, like an album cover is, okay, maybe I'll put it in a frame and hang it up somewhere.
Yeah.
What are some other, maybe, I don't know if someone has done that before, but have you seen any interesting ways that customers have used these puzzles that they've built?
Yeah, I've seen, not specifically, I mean, no one has sent me any picture reviews with them like actually framing it. I've just seen them like putting it together, maybe on like a mat or a puzzle board. But people like people who are deep into puzzles, some of them kind of do like what do you call it? Like the glue. There's a specific glue, but like a glue swipe over like the final portrait, and then they'll let it dry and then actually like frame it in their homes or just hang it up as is. And they have like a whole wall full of like all the puzzles they've completed framed on their walls, and like that's something that's specific to like the puzzle community. So if you wanted to do that, you definitely could do it as well. So yeah.
Uh, Give us a peek like into, pull the curtains a little bit for us. Who would you say are your top consumers?
That's a good question. So I'm actually surprised because Harmony Puzzles is a fairly technically new store, especially to the Etsy platform. I've only been on the platform for, I want to say 5 months now, so it hasn't been that long. And we are at, I believe, about 60 sales. So not that many, but like a good enough amount. And like it always surprises me where we get sales from, literally from all over the country. There's no specific like at least set space just yet. We still need those numbers as we get more sales. But I would say the more specific demographic is maybe like women are the majority consumers, and then like I want to assume women in like their mid 20s to like early 40s. I'm realizing our big consumer base based on those that have already purchased, and then I have buyers that have purchased from like Germany, Australia, like random places in other parts of the world. So the Netherlands. So yeah, we're still building out our consumer base, and every time I get a sale, I'm shocked at where people are purchasing from. But yeah.
From jollof to sweet potato pie, your digital cookbook. A lot of people go the YouTube route, right? They create videos, actually do the cooking and everything. I mean, not to say that you don't know how to cook, because you could throw it down, right? Why did you decide to do the digital cookbook versus the regular YouTube videos, tutorials, and things like that?
Yeah, so many reasons. I've been wanting to do a cookbook for a long time, and a lot of the like recorded videos that I do have of me cooking are kind of more so like quick clips that I have on my Instagram page. YouTube is like a job on its own, right? Like to be consistent and like cooking on there, like, you know what I'm saying, and putting out content weekly or daily, whatever, like that is a full-time job. And I already have a full-time job. So I thought maybe a good way to kind of start was in the reverse. These are recipes that I've been putting together for the last 10 years and cleaning up for the past 10 years. I started cooking in college as like a way to like reconnect with my culture, Cameroonian culture. And so as I was, testing out recipes, trying different recipes, I would like write them down, especially, small campus, small kitchen. You don't have a lot of utensils. Like you want to make sure you're remembering what you're using for next time. And then also I have another family that I'm really close to, a Black American foster family that I lived with for some time, and they taught me how to make soul food recipes. And so whenever I would cook with them, I would also like, notate some of those recipes to remember to cook for myself. Also love Caribbean culture. And so like I would test out recipes, from those cultures as well. And as I was testing out recipes over the years, I would just notate them in my notepad. And in more recent years, I kept telling myself, hey, like, do something with this. I have all these recipes in my notepad, but like I'm not doing anything with it. And so as I again got into e-commerce last year, discovered digital products. And so I thought maybe that would be a good way to put out my recipes into the world. And then eventually like market it within my videos or my cooking videos. Once I do get back into YouTube and, podcasting and, visual marketing and all that stuff. But yeah, I thought this would be a good way to start. And then once I start doing those videos, I can easily just plug in my product into my videos to where people can, just purchase directly based on what I'm cooking. So if I'm making like my, my Caribbean, I don't know, spicy chickpea curry recipe and somebody's like, hey, what are the ingredients? How do I make it? I could just, directly link them to the cookbook and they can purchase instead of, me having to maybe send individually to everybody. Was my thinking. But yeah, I've been building out these recipes for a long time and just decided to eventually just, put it out into the world and see what happens.
Nice. The cookbook got African, Caribbean, like as you mentioned, and also soul food recipes. Like each and every one of us, we have our names and, our names got meanings. Well, some of us, these recipes, are there any of them that got meaning to you? Well, other than you just writing them or you love the food. I mean, like, do they have meaning to you? Like, you probably cooked this one with your grandma or with your great grandma, things like that. Can you name 2 from your cookbook, if any?
What was the last question you said? Is there any what from the cookbook?
I said, can you name 2 from your cookbook? Can you name 2 of the recipes from your cookbook that got special meanings, and what are those meanings?
Yeah, I would say specific to, I could do for each culture. I would say for the African recipes, I try to be as like diverse as possible. There are some specific recipes to like Cameroonian culture, like the okra recipe that I have in there, okra stew or okra soup, however you want to call it, recipe that I have in there is more Cameroonian style okra soup. And then I also have an egusi soup recipe as well, kind of, geared more so like Nigerian culture, cuisine culture. And I would say those 2, I feel like are recipes that are not necessarily an acquired taste, but like anybody who tries it, maybe a goosey, maybe a little bit, but the okra stew, I feel like people in the South, they might do fried okra or like, I'm saying, some people do like okra liquids, so they're at least familiar with it. And the goosey maybe might be a little bit more exploratory, but it's something that has gone viral in recent years, and I know a lot of people want to try it. And it's a recipe that I make a lot and I really enjoy making. So I would say those 2 are 2 that I feel are some of my favorites for the African recipes. And then for the Caribbean recipes, again, that chickpea curry recipe is a spicy, like coconut-based chickpea recipe stew that I have in there. It's one of my favorites, and that one it's more like a personal recipe that I created after I started having some health issues. I was struggling with fibroids for a while, so I had to shift my diet and what I was eating, and was looking for healthy recipes that still like had depth of flavor and still reminded me of like, my roots, my culture. I didn't want to make anything bland. And so I was playing around with, different chickpea recipes, and this one that I created, I really love. And so there's no meat, there's no like any, nothing unhealthy in there. It's fully a vegetarian based stew, but you won't be able to tell, like there's a lot of depth of flavor in that one. And then for the soul food recipes, oh man, all of them are personal. I would say, especially because, like I said, my foster family, my Black American foster family taught me those recipes. And so they have deep roots in the American South. And so they're the reason why I know how to make soul food and Black American cuisine. But yeah, their fried chicken recipe is amazing. I learned how to make some bomb deviled eggs and like potato salad from them. And so some of those recipes are in there as well. But yeah, there's a lot. There's 80 plus recipes in the digital cookbook, including drinks as well. And so for African culture, I have our ginger beer or like ginger juice recipe in there. For Caribbean, I have the sorrel or hibiscus juice recipe. And then for soul food, I have a sweet tea / lemonade recipe in there. So yeah, you're gonna get everything for all 3 cultures.
Okay, so the real question is, first of all, because I got a bone to pick with you, sister girl. Let me tell you, the real question is, why you ain't come up here with no cookbooks for us? That's the first question.
But here's the thing, you can actually, so as soon as you purchase the cookbook, it's an instant download. So I don't actually have to send you all any physical copies. The next phase of the
It is a
cookbook,
digital. You're right.
yeah, it's digital. So literally instant download. So as soon as you purchase, it is in your inbox and you are good to go. And so I also have like direct links. So for the digital cookbook, if you click on a recipe, it takes you directly to the page of the recipe. And then for those who actually want to print it out, I know, for maybe older generations who don't necessarily know how to navigate, technology in that way or are not comfortable with it, I have detailed page numbers. So if you want to take it to like a, printing store and have physical copies, you can do that as well. But yeah, in the next few months, I will be looking at doing physical copies through Amazon. So when I do that, I'll definitely let y'all know. But for now, you can just
Okay, well, at that point, girl, I'm already going ahead and purchase my digital book, but I still take a physical copy. So at this point, that's fine.
I got you.
The digital copies, do they have like photos of the meals?
Yeah. Photos. Yep. I'm a visual person. I'm a visual learner. I love a good picture. So all the recipes have pictures attached to the recipe so you can have an idea of what it's supposed to look like, or what it is. So yeah, you have visuals as well with every recipe.
Now, let me say something. Just 1 second.
Okay.
People who make cookbooks, they
Mhm.
cook and present it in an Instagrammable way.
Mm,
Now, when I cook it, it don't look like that.
yeah.
Is that what's gonna be if someone gets this book? Because I don't want to look at my food and I'm looking at yours and they don't look the same because you done done all this extra shit on it and
That
you didn't
means you ain't follow directions, sis.
Yeah. And here's the thing. In the same way how like everybody you can have the same recipe, but honestly, at the end of the day, like it's what you put into it is what you're gonna get, right? And I do have those specific recipes, so make sure you like with detailed measurements, so make sure you're following them exactly. But for people who are maybe vegetarian or vegan, I have certain substitutes, right? So instead of meat, you can use mushrooms or whatever meat substitutes you want to use, or vegan meat, or whatever. Instead of dairy, you can do supplement them with whatever healthier alternatives you want, right? So that's going to change the recipe a bit depending on what your health needs are as a vegan vegetarian. But if you're following the recipes exactly as I have them written, you should be good to go. I also offer like virtual cooking class sessions for people who have never cooked African food before, Caribbean food or soul food, just to kind of like walk you through the process. I don't mind like booking sessions to go to like an African market with you virtually so that you're picking up the right ingredients, so that when we are cooking together, you have everything you need. But for me, I'm big on flavor. It may not always look as presentable, but as long as it tastes good, I think that's more important than like, aesthetic visuals. But I would say the recipes have both for sure. But yeah, I'm big on flavor.
One last thing on your cookbook, and I promise I might walk away.
No,
I might come back on it. So you mentioned that you were looking to make recipes that are like healthy options, good. You having substitutes for it. Is there? Do you have it like the regular cookbooks where they have portion sizes and just this whole micro thing and calorie counting? Is that all in your book?
No, I don't. I'm not a calorie counting person. I think as long as you're eating vegetables, there should be no reason why you're counting calorie. At least that's my take on it. But I do warn in like the intro of the cookbook, because a lot of our foods, especially when they're more savory, we use a lot of, sometimes a lot of palm oil in our recipes. We use a lot of Maggi, and so just I try to cut back on the measurements for those specific ingredients, anything that's high in sodium or high in cholesterol for the more vegan and vegetarian based recipes. But outside of that, I'm making sure that if it is like an authentic recipe, you are going to put as much palm oil as is needed, put as much Maggi as is needed. But if you are more health conscious, I give people that option, and then I tell them to just make sure that they're cutting those measurements in half. But if it is a very authentic recipe, you're going to get the authentic ingredients for sure.
Tell me you're African without telling me you're African, basically. That's what she said. Okay, we don't count calories as an African over here.
Food good or not? You know what I mean? like Please, if you
how they be like, that's like you put like you season it to your ancestors and tell you it's enough seasoning.
Yeah. And I would have to, after they would tell me to stop, I would have to write it down because I'm like, okay, how does somebody else measure this? But I had to be conscious of that when, putting together the cookbook for sure. But yeah, I make sure that I have authentic recipes if you want it exactly how it's supposed to be made. And then for those who are health conscious, because I've had to make, health shifts for myself. And so I was thinking about that as I was putting together the cookbook, so that everybody can enjoy a recipe. You have those notations in the cookbook as well. If you are vegan or vegetarian, but you still want a taste of African food or Caribbean flavor, African flavor. So, yeah.
Two-part question. The first one was trying to translate what he asked you, the other question. The pictures in the book, are they photoshopped or is it just like non-Photoshop pictures?
Some of them are Photoshop pictures just because I wanted to make sure that everything was like uniform. Because if some of them were like, professional pictures and then some of them were like home-based pictures from my iPhone, like it wouldn't look as presentable. And then there were also because there were recipes that I've created that I may not have the most aesthetic, images of, because I was just, taking them. I didn't plan on, maybe a few years ago creating this a digital cookbook. So I didn't plan to like take the proper, pictures, but I wanted everything to just kind of be succinct and like uniform in the cookbook. So yes, a lot of the pictures that you're seeing are photoshopped, but they are authentic to the recipes that you are seeing drafted on the pages that you're reading. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for that. Just so in case, like people will buy Shein clothes and, it's like what you see and what you get. Don't come back saying, oh man, like I cooked, it came out this color. Please be very careful. And then the other one was, how like FDA, they regulate like food and things like that with your measurement. Did you think about, if somebody like, what's my question? With the measurements, like, did it bother you about, whether like the FDA again, as they regulate things, did that come across your mind, or you just say, okay, this is Nancy's measurements, take it, while you at it, things like that?
Yeah, definitely Nancy's measurement. So for sure. But that's why I made that notation in the beginning that a lot of our dishes, especially the more savory dishes, or even some of the dessert recipes I have, like, know your health status, like know, you know what I mean? Because again, a lot of Black people, when we cook, we don't measure seasonings, we don't measure, sweets, we do it until, culturally, like we are oral people, we're visual people. So when we cook, like cookbooks were not necessarily a thing for us as African people, right? We just pass down our recipes by, word of mouth or through watching our grandparents. And so that's how we cook. That's what we know. But, as, being more health conscious has become a thing, especially with us living in the Western world, and learning, that there are certain things that can happen if we have too much oil or have too much sweets or have too much sodium. I make sure that I notate that in the beginning, that, a lot of the measurements here are specific to authentic recipes. But if you know that you have certain health issues, make sure that you are cutting these numbers either in half or subtracting your measurements so that it's, fitting for your health. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's tap into another topic, but another bone to pick with you. Why you ain't come up here with no apparel?
So actually, I did.
For us.
Oh, I can make. Okay, so send me an address, because that's all I need. I just need an address, and I can get it shipped out to you guys. So just tell me what you want. But and all my products are customizable too. So if you guys have like a design that you want, for the podcast or for the Palm Wine podcast, if you guys need hoodies, t-shirts, whatever, I can make them for you guys. But yeah, this is one of my products from Konjo Apparel. Clearly Cameroonian flag, and then it says Peace for Cameroon. So this design I made some years ago, but yeah, kind of speaking to the francophone anglophone crisis. But that's when I created this hoodie. But yeah, I definitely have shirts, hoodies, jackets, whatever y'all need. I can get it to you.
Okay. All right. That's what I say now. Is so you're going to go ahead and give it to us for the free. Now I just give you a nice Yelp review, a little Google review or something like that.
I got you. Send
it.
Got you.
Like that. Okay. So talk to us about Konjo Apparel. I know you just lightly tapped into it, but like what motivated you to launch it, and how does it, if it does, reflect your values and beliefs or beliefs?
Yeah. For sure reflects my values, my humor, my some of my ideological beliefs. But yeah, Konjo Apparel is a protest apparel and streetwear line that I initially created in like 2019, 2020, maybe a little before that actually, through another platform. And around that time, I initially was going to, even prior to that, I used to go to a lot of like protests in DC, and a lot of what sparked a lot of my advocacy and like protests around social justice sparked during the wake of like George Floyd. And so I just started doing a lot of like research around police brutality and social justice issues. And as I would go to different marches, like I would see all these different signs and like people wearing all this, cool stuff. And I would, I was like, I want to make something like this. Like, I think this is really dope. I think this is a really, cool way to showcase your thoughts, your views, your beliefs. And so, yeah, I created a protest streetwear line right before 2020. But around that time, I was working so much. I didn't have enough time to like manage all that inventory or like holding all that inventory. It was really expensive as well for me to manage the store. But then I relaunched last year because it was on my heart to do it. And I was like, okay, especially with, Trump's presidency, there was a lot of protests kind of, sparking back up. And so I thought it would be a good time to revamp the store and relaunch. And so, yeah, I had a lot of pieces specific to the election when I first relaunched, but then I built out, pieces around culture, pieces around certain political figures, especially the one regarding culture. I have some pieces specific to like African culture. I kind of tie in a lot of like humor and politics into my apparel as well, depending on like, maybe viral topics or like trending images or like, anything, that's kind of going around specific to politics that is, funny at the time. So I have some, very funny pieces in my store as well. That are political and just get people politically charged, get people talking, get conversations going around civic engagement, social issues, political issues, social justice issues. And I think it's like a fun way to kind of just wear your voice, wear what you're thinking without maybe not necessarily even going to a march. You can wear it to a family event. You know what I'm saying? If you want to spark conversations there, if you're not able to go to marches, like I thought this may be another cool way to kind of just voice your thoughts, voice your political views and ideologies to, have and spark conversations. So yeah, that was the inspiration for Konjo Apparel.
Okay. So and I remember you said that you can like customize it. So if somebody wants it. So have you ever had like somebody like a F Donald Trump, or have you ever had like a what's y'all President Paul Biya? Do y'all have like you have something like that? You know how like does anybody ever put in a request? Have you got any like weird requests or do this or do that? I just want to know because
Yeah. We got so one of the pieces I have in my store, someone requested a like was it F Elon and the Felon like designs. And so yeah, I had that request and I have it on a few of my pieces, hoodies, hats, hoodies. And so, yeah, there are some specific requests, but it doesn't have to be, that vulgar. It doesn't have to be that graphic. But yeah, you can request whatever you'd like if you already have a design, or I can create a design for you and customize it on any piece of apparel and get it shipped out to you within, 3 to 7 business days, standard shipping. And so, yeah, the options are open to individuals, also really targeting advocacy groups as well. So if you're a part of an advocacy group for, not anything specific to the US, maybe, there's different Cameroonian associations that march in the DC area. And if you guys need, apparel or, marching for Congo, marching for Sudan, marching for whoever, like I can create custom pieces for whatever advocacy you're doing for your group or your association as well. So, yeah.
Okay. And do you have a like team, or is it just a one woman team? Like, do you have like a team that helps put this together? And then I know you said it's like 3 to 7 business days, standard shipping. How much is shipping? It's like $9.99, $12.99. Just asking. They be tariffs is hitting, sis. Tariffs is really hitting.
Yeah, tariffs are hitting. So it depends on what's being shipped and how many pieces you're getting. But standard shipping can range from like $6 to $12. It depends. It depends on how many pieces and what you're getting as well.
Gotcha. And are you a one-woman team or you got?
Yes. Well, I wish I had staff. Maybe this is a one-woman show.
You hiring?
I would love to, but I would require people to I need more buyers so that I can pay you, you know what I'm saying, a livable wage, because that's what I would like to do. So yeah, the more sales we get and I can build out my clientele, then yeah, I would love to expand because this is a lot. This is a lot, especially the marketing piece. It's a lot of work, but no, this is a one-woman show. Thankfully, I got into a space called print on demand in the e-commerce space. So for those who want to test out products without necessarily having a bunch of inventory or holding a lot of inventory, and can find suppliers based in the US without necessarily having to get products from like China or elsewhere, definitely look up print on demand products as a way to sell, products or pieces that, speak to you. And that's also why we're able to ship so quickly, is because the suppliers and manufacturers are based here in the States.
Okay. And how like long is the process to create?
So it depends. Like some days for me, like if I have a design in mind, Canva is like my design tool, and Kittl as well is another platform that I use to design my shirts, hoodies, hats, whatever, stickers. We have all the things, but yeah, Canva and Kittl, and sometimes they have like templates that are already readily available. I would say AI is like a great tool to utilize designs right now. Also saves time. You can kind of, whatever you're thinking, you can type out, like a, phrase or template, and AI can help you bring that design to life. And then you can structure that design in Canva however you want, put it on your apparel, and send it to your supplier, and you know what I'm saying, get a sample, review it. If it looks good, you're good to go. And then, yeah, you get it shipped out to whoever wants to purchase.
I feel like we're running a relay team here with you, because it's like, it's one thing, it's passing on to the next, and it's passing on to the next. And you weren't playing when you say you were a serial
Oh yeah, I am a serial entrepreneur. I have I feel like I got ADHD. It's self-diagnosed, but my brain can do a million things at once. And so I decided to make use of that. Instead of just like maybe doom scrolling or like just being on my computer looking at a bunch of different things or researching a bunch of, different things, I decided to, put it into making money. If my brain is going to be this busy, I might as well, do something with it. And again, this is all a means to an end. This is all a means of me just raising capital towards African job placement, which is my long-term goal. And so, yeah, it requires a lot of money to build an international staffing agency. And so these are the ways that I'm doing it, but I'm doing things that are also personal to me, things that are true to me, things that interest me as well. And, just serve as like residual income. But yeah, like definitely a lot of moving parts for sure.
Okay, not saying that you mentioned that. Let me see if I can pry a little bit. And I know that it's something that you're still working out the details and the kinks of it. Yeah. What kind of preview can you give us into what that placement platform would look like?
African job placement would look like?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so African job placement, initially, I'll give the very rudimentary, like initial stages, would serve as a job board first, and then build out the staffing agency part of it, because when there's a lot more legal compliance to consider when you're placing people from the US to go work back home in different countries. You have to consider currencies, living, travel. Like there's a lot of moving parts. So initially would start out building the platform and application as a job board. So if you are someone who's ever thought about, working back home or contributing your time back home to an organization, a nonprofit organization, or a for-profit organization, if you are maybe a Caribbean or Black American who, has considered moving to Africa and are looking for work, right? This platform would have a list of organizations and companies that are currently hiring or looking for volunteers, and you would be able to apply. And, hopefully they consider you for the job, and assuming you get the position, you would be able to, go back home and work. Also, remote roles as well, if you just want to contribute to, aiding, the country maybe grow economically, aiding a company, develop, their staff or the work that they're doing, you would have an opportunity to do that as well. But initially starting really focusing on the job board aspect and then building out the staffing aspect once I get compliance and legalities in order. And yeah, that's going to be the most expensive part. So, yeah.
Have you seen this series? I think it was on Prime, The Expat.
What is it called?
The Expat. It's this family in the US. They worked in, I think it was Korea type deal.
I think
it's kind of given, your platform is kind of giving me that visual of what that was.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched it, but I hope this didn't go out. Can you guys still see me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I think I've heard of the show, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. Well, that's awesome. Let's go back to that brain of yours, and talk about another venture of yours, right? Banso Digital Market.
Yeah.
How did you jump from Apparel to Cookbook to e-commerce or digital marketing to Etsy to Amazon? How did you manage all that?
Yeah, so they all fall under e-commerce. So there's that, but within e-commerce space, you can have physical and digital products. And so I was exploring all the things. I kind of went on this like research binge last year when I started getting into this space. And I wanted to explore every avenue to see what was possible, because a lot of it initially is like testing out products to even see what works. And so that's what you guys are also seeing. This is an accumulation of me testing out to see what works and what, maybe, I got a sale here. And so I kept building, and then I got a sale here. So I kept building that store. But there are other stores that I've built that you guys have not seen that have, never gotten a sale. Right. And so, yeah, just testing out different products, seeing what works, and then just building from there. Again, this is still very new for me. I've only been in this space less than a year, and it's a process. It's a learning process. And so as I've tested out different platforms, different e-commerce systems, different print-on-demand systems, a lot of these platforms have integrations with platforms like Etsy, with integrations with platforms like Amazon. So it makes it easy for you to sell across different stores and different platforms. So it's not as overwhelming. So if I do an update for one product in one system, it trickles into the other platforms as well, which helps with management. So I'm not having to go into Amazon individually to fix something, going to Etsy individually to fix something, and then that platform as well.
So far, the Banso Digital Market, is that just for you and your product, or are you?
Yep. Those are all my digital. Yeah, no, Banso Digital Digital Market is all my digital products, including my cookbook, some items for play, some items for grants. Like, again, anything I know, I'm kind of just putting it out into the world. Anything I have experience with, I'm just putting it out into the world. And so that's kind of what you're seeing in that space. But all the products, all the digital products you see in there, I've designed, I've created, and they are all instant downloads. So with digital products, as soon as you purchase, it goes directly to your inbox, and you have access to it, to do whatever you would like. But yeah, that marketplace is specific to my digital products, which you can also get on nancygoesdigital.com. So you can get it on both platforms. But that one is specific to Etsy, I think is the store you're referring to.
So I know you say you do all these different things to occupy, and it's a means to an end. But what's your creative culture and vision for your e-commerce side of you as a whole?
Yeah, with these e-commerce platforms, I guess outside of the digital products, because those are, my own private, products, I don't have to necessarily they're nothing physical that I have to get and sell, or, what I'm saying,
Mhm.
like my ideas. But with the physical products, I would say, just scale, keep scaling, and then eventually sell is the long-term goal. Maybe not with Harmony Puzzles, but on my other physical products or on my other product stores, just keep building out those platforms and maybe serve as a partner or sell so that I can focus on my bigger projects is the goal. But yeah.
With 1,001 things that you have on your plate, how do you stay true to yourself? How do you stay authentic while doing all this?
Question. I honestly, I don't know how else to be. Like, I feel like everything I am doing is authentic to me. Like, I'm not going to create products or do things that I'm not interested in because it is draining. It is a lot of work. So yeah, if I'm going to be putting this much time into something, it has to be something that at least brings me some kind of joy, or I feel like it's something that I know is going to help other people. And so that's what helps me stay true to the products I'm creating, the products I'm putting out into the world. Is because I know it's directly coming from me and things I'm passionate about or things I want to share with others. And I think that's what makes it easy, even though it is a lot of work and it is so time consuming and it can be very stressful to manage all these different stores, especially with marketing and all the things. But yeah, I think I'm just being me, and I'm just producing whatever comes to my head or what I've already had on my heart or what I've already drafted in my notes, or, sharing what I've known in the grant space, career wise, in digital form, sharing all the recipes that I've put together in digital form. So I'm just kind of putting out what's already true to me, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's not necessarily like something I have to think about.
Right. Say you are in a room full of aspiring entrepreneurs who want to go into the e-commerce space.
Mhm.
What are two advices that you can give to them
Yeah, if you want to
starting
get
out?
into, what was the last part?
No, I said starting out.
Oh, starting now. Yeah. So if you're an entrepreneur looking to get into e-commerce, you need to have patience because not every product you put out is going to be a winner. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of research, um, be willing to take some financial losses. Because I know with a lot of these platforms, they'll when you're initially researching, they'll tell you, it's no upfront cost, but eventually you're gonna have to pay for something and it's gonna add up. So I would say keep your day job and use that money to reinvest in your, e-commerce, journey. And then look into digital products ASAP and look into print on demand products through platforms, depending on what products you want to sell. But some of the platforms I've explored are like Printify, Printful, AutoDS, which are also kind of drop shipping spaces for those who are familiar with that term. But I would definitely say, yeah, look into print on demand products and look into digital products if you are looking to get into the e-commerce space ASAP, and figure out what your niche is going to be, and then just keep building out products based on that niche. And yeah, see what hits, but you have to have patience because it's going to take time to figure out what works, what people want to buy, and marketing is the big thing too. That is going to be a big part of your expense as an entrepreneur, is getting your product out there and letting people know that it exists. So yeah, that's my advice. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think it was my laptop. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, look at that. We see the face beat. Yes, ma'am. We see the blush. We see the. Come on. All right. Come on, definition. So
Right.
back to, you want me to ask the question again, or you just want to continue off? Should
Uh, Valuable lesson for me in entrepreneurship, I think was your question.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say I've learned that entrepreneurship is spiritual for me. It has been a very faith-based journey of just like trusting God, to kind of fulfill the plans that I feel called to do, right? Because a lot of this is not something I was taught. Like I felt inclined to research certain things. Why? No idea. But, just like trusting the process, even if you don't see immediate results, has been a big thing for me. And yeah, it's been a journey of faith. Entrepreneurship is a spiritual journey. At least for me, it has been. And then, yeah, just patience, building out my patience in a way that I've never had it built out before. So those are the two things. And I'm still learning. Again, I'm very new to the e-commerce space. So there's still a lot to learn.
It'll take off. And like you said, consistency is a good thing. And I mean, is an important thing, and patience. So with that being said, how do you handle the day-to-day operations in marketing of like your different products, whether it be your cookbook or your Amazon storefront? Like, how do you do you have maybe like at the beginning of each week, you sit down and be like, okay, this is what I want to do. Do you have like a planner? Just kind of how do you balance or juggle everything that you need to do to make sure you hit deadlines and stuff like that?
Yeah, I have like technically my own planner and my notes on my phone, but I track things daily that I need to do that I may not have completed the day before. But it is a daily thing. I think initially what I was doing is different to what I'm doing now. When I first started or got into the space, a lot of the work I was doing was around researching products. So it was a lot of researching how to sell the products, how to create, how to design products, what platforms to use to sell products, learning different integrations. There was a lot of technical things I had to learn. So initially, I was doing a lot of that. And then when I got into the creation phase, just pushing out like just different products, different creations, different designs. And it was just kind of just like go mode to see what people were even like, looking at my data, my analytics, seeing what was even catching interest. And now that I've created my products, including digital products, my focus now, because I think I've created enough, my focus now is on marketing. And that is the biggest thing because nobody's going to buy your stuff if they don't know it exists. And so organic traffic is like, fingers crossed, is like best bet. But if that's not working, testing ads as well has been a good marketing tool. But organic traffic is like what I always aim for, and so that's marketing across different platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Threads is a big one. I would recommend to entrepreneurs. I think that's taken over X now, or Twitter, previously known as Twitter. And so that's been a great marketing tool for me. But yeah, these days, my biggest thing is marketing. Every now and again, I'll pump out a new product or a new design. But my biggest thing right now is focusing on marketing.
Have you ever felt, and I feel like this is such a cliche question, but it is an important question to ask, especially when you're dealing with entrepreneurs or even just people that's trying to do certain things. And they're like, I have this goal of this is what I want to do, but obviously you don't hit that goal. Do you have those moments, or have you had that moment where it's like, at this point, fuck it, I'm not doing it. Like, it is what it is. Like, I just can't.
Girl, every day. Every day. And my thing
how
is,
do you like push yourself to be like, nah, I got this. I can do it.
I think for me, because I know the end goal for me is not to work for anybody. Baby, I'm tired. I'm tired of clocking in for people. I'm tired. And so, and I know I have a bigger vision in mind for what I want to do. And so I keep pushing because, again, African job placement is the goal for me. Managing my own company, my own empire is the goal. And the only way I can do that is to break out of this matrix of like 9 to 5. And so you got to keep pushing, if you don't want to work for somebody for the rest of your life. So, yeah.
You ain't never lie, girl. Soft life, baby girl lifestyle. I'm telling you. Where do you see your brand going in the next, like, let's say, few years, 2 to 5 years? Where do you see that?
Yeah, I would hope in the next, again, outside of my digital products, because those are mine, but with physical products, scale and sell. That's it. Scale, sell, and then reinvest that money back into African job placement. So, yeah, that's it. Maybe might keep one or two for, like, again, recurring residual income, but the goal is always to scale and sell, because I don't want to be managing too much. But yeah.
I do have something in the back of my head, and
Yes.
I know usually they say no offense, but then it does sound like it's an
hmm
offense. But
hmm
I'm just, it's more curiosity than anything.
hmm
They say jack of all trades, master of none.
hmm hmm
You are in almost everything.
hmm
How do you make sure that you are mastering a particular craft, seeing that you're
hmm
in so many spaces at
hmm
the same time?
hmm Yeah, so great question. I definitely am someone who is a jack of all trades. I think the things that there are a few things I have mastered. I think cooking has been a love language for me for many years since I was a child. So that one I can say comfortably, I can push out soundly, and know that it's something that I've thought about. Again, these are recipes I've crafted for over 10 years. The Konjo Apparel, again, products that I've been and designs that I've been thinking about for the past 5 years, at least maybe 6 years now. And I'm someone who's a socially conscious person. I'm someone who's naturally a progressive person. And so a lot of the things that I'm pushing out are specific to the work I've already been doing for a long time. And so it does maybe come off chaotic to some people. But because I do have interest in a lot of things and I have dabbled in a lot of things, I know just enough, right, to push some things out, and some things I know well enough to push out. And then, like with my other digital products, I've created like grant templates for people who are in the grant space, based on work again that I already do on a daily basis for like 9 to 5. I have a list of like foundations that I've done my own personal research for, that I've pushed out to for people who are looking for funding for their nonprofits, right? So like I'm pushing out stuff that I already have experience in. It's not necessarily, I would say maybe what's the only new thing? I would say maybe like puzzling, like creating print on demand products is the only thing that has been like super new to me. But the designs themselves, again, curating from like designs I either already had or things that I already kind of have in my mind. Um, but yeah, it does come off chaotic, I'm sure, to some. Like my hands are dabbling in a lot of different places, but again, it's coming naturally from like work that I've already been doing, or work that I've already, drafted for years on end, and I just maybe needed to clean up, or present in a more like, succinct way. But yeah, I definitely have my hands in a lot of different pots, and so I can understand that question, and no offense
Appreciate
taken
that.
at all. No offense taken at all. I get it. Yeah. Again, and I self-diagnosed ADHD. I feel like I have to make use of what's happening up here without, feeling like I'm just like dome scrolling or like just not doing anything about it. And so this is my way of like making use of everything that was happening up here and then just like pushing it out into the world. So yeah.
All right. My next question is kind of personal
Okay.
to me.
Okay.
I love to cook, right?
Okay.
That's my one place where I don't want to mess it up.
hmm
And every time I do something, I feel like, and people have said to me, "Oh, turn it into a business."
Mm.
I feel like if I do that, I
hmm
would lose that, I would say, spiritual connection to cooking.
Yes.
Now, you have marketed your love for cooking.
hmm
How have you preserved that um, feeling of the euphoria that cooking brings to you while,
hmm
making money off of it? How have you kept that? Help me out.
So great point. Because I feel like just because something is like your passion, or like, your talent or your love does not necessarily mean you need to monetize it, because it can strip your joy from it for sure. And so I initially discovered that with cooking, what would do that for me is because I started catering some years ago after college, and I was exhausted. I was like, I can't do. I mean, I love cooking for people, but like more into like intermediary, like more family, friends. But once I start
Intimate
cooking,
setting type business.
yeah, once I start cooking for too many people, I was just like, oh yeah, this is not gonna work for me. So I think that's kind of why I stuck to recipes, because I felt like that's still a way that I get to share my love for cooking
Mhm.
and like keep it personal and sacred to me without necessarily spreading myself too thin. And so that's kind of like the middle ground for me. And then like, eventually you stay down the line, I do want to have like, a restaurant. I could just give my recipes to the chef and like I'm just overseeing everything, but I don't necessarily need to be in the kitchen so that it doesn't strip your joy, for cooking, or you showing up for those that you love in a way that it's essentially a love, at least for me, it's a love language. So
Mhm.
this has been my middle ground. This is how I discovered. For some people, maybe it doesn't it won't strip their love for it if they cook for maybe smaller groups versus like larger groups. Like you have to figure out what it is for you. For me,
Mhm.
I discovered that I can't. It's just me and my loved ones, and that's it. Like my friends and my family, that's all I have capacity for. But if I do anything more, it would strip my love for it. But like I still want to put out into the world what I know, and so yeah, I did that. Through the cookbook. So.
I don't blame you. I worked for a catering company for about 7 years, and I said I aged probably 3 times
I believe
working.
it. I believe it.
Catering is
It's a lot.
hard. It looks so easy. It is long hours. It is hard on your body.
Body, yes.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know. But I appreciate that advice. It
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, no, pay your caterers, y'all. It is
yes.
Jesus. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But yeah, you have to figure out what that balance is for you. And so yeah, I feel like I could do just enough, through this cookbook. So yeah.
Any more questions, y'all?
You mentioned that you are heavily single and heavily looking.
Yes, 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 yes.
What are your criteria now? I mean, the last time that we spoke, long time. I'm pretty sure that's changed, this far. So
It's that come with money.
recently, right now,
Mm.
Nas, what are you looking for and what are you not looking for?
Okay. So at the very top, please have money. Have money, have sense, please. And then after that, I can figure everything else out now. But I would say someone who is self-awareness, emotional maturity are like big for me. Someone who's also equally driven. Like clearly, I got a lot going on, so make sure you know what you got going on, or at least working towards it. And someone who is spiritually grounded. You got to know God for yourself. Yeah, I would say those are some of my main things. I can keep going. Preferably tall, taller than me. Yeah, yeah. But that's it. I don't necessarily have like a physical type. Like I just like what I like. So yeah.
There you go, fellas. You heard it. Rush out. Yes. Anyways, Tutu, gotta go, please. Thank you, Nan.
Wait, okay. Okay. Before I close out, right? Let me ask this one question. Let me get your opinion on it, okay? Because this was so say your man, right? Let me say your man is your husband, your boyfriend, your husband, okay? Your husband is like this real. Sorry, I was trying to figure. I need us to understand where I'm going with this. But your husband is like this rich billionaire. He started a company, and it's like one of the biggest like social media platforms. Okay, maybe like not a Mark Zuckerberg, but maybe some like of that caliber. And y'all started like y'all knew each other from like high school sweetheart days, maybe even middle school, elementary babes, whatever. And you guys grew up and you held it down while he was there. You guys got married, then you guys got divorced. Bam, right? And then you doing your own thing. Dang, I'm telling this story wrong, y'all. I'm telling this wrong. I'm so sorry. Hold on, wait. No, you are married to a man that you're married to a man that's still of high caliber, right? Okay, cool. He was married to somebody before. They were high school sweethearts, all that shebang, right? They stuck it from the ground up, like she was there when they didn't have nothing, penny pinch, right? Cool. Now they're no longer together. Obviously, you're the new wife, but she has access to his bank accounts. How you acting? Is there an issue? Like, how do you act? Like, how you feel about that? This is a true story, y'all. I promise you.
Wait.
Your opinion.
We're married.
You're married, but he had an ex.
And another woman has access to his bank accounts.
Yes,
because
he's not taking her off the accounts because that was his like ride or die. Like
she helped him build a business.
She was not basically helped build it, but she was there from the ground up. Like she was just like his lifeline, his best friend. It just didn't work out.
So this has nothing to do with business. He's just like, this is like as a thank you.
Yes, like I'm grateful for you. Like you didn't give me no wahala, you didn't give me no stress, you didn't give me no nothing.
Got kids?
Do they have kids together?
And go ahead and be thinking about that while I find out. I don't think so.
Because if they have kids, I think.
Huh?
Is it the Barstool guy?
Yes. Okay. See, yes. Okay. I brought this up because we had this conversation at work, and I really was like, "This is a serious conversation that people need to have." But basically, for a context, Barstool guy, his name is Dave Potesty or one of that, but he basically created Barstool, which is like one of the biggest sports platforms, like pages on known. And his wife, he was married. I don't know if he's dating somebody right now, but she's dating, the ex is with somebody now. And he was just like, he was on Club Shay Shay, but Shannon Sharp, and basically saying that his ex-wife has access to his accounts and he's not removing her. Like he's just not.
They were previously married.
And
do they have kids together?
I don't think so, but let me double check. Don't quote me on that though.
Yeah, because if they have kids together, then I kind of get that.
He was also saying like, if she decided to go ahead and like get married and she wanted to go ahead and use like the wedding was maybe like $500,000, he would let her like to use the money in my account.
Listen, that's somebody whose app he sold it for $400 million.
They ain't got no kids. Sorry, AK. They ain't got no kids.
No kids.
My dear.
I heard the thing. I mean, in my honest opinion, to each their own.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I was not there when they started. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
You know, and in all fairness, just maybe it's cheaper this way. That's my conclusion. Just maybe it's cheaper this way. Maybe if he wants to separate, it'll be more expensive than just leaving her there. Just maybe. I don't know.
I mean, but he did say
they're not married.
They were married before, right?
I mean,
they were married.
Yeah, they were married before.
Yeah, but now they're not.
Right.
Yeah, it's not the preference. It's definitely not the preference. I think it's interesting because now I want to know what did she stick with you through that you feel this obligated to her? Like, I need to know the details. Like,
he was basically explaining like how
bail you out of jail. Like,
he didn't even have money to buy a hamburger. Like, he didn't have she was ride or die. Like, if you broke, I'm broke with you.
So, okay, so what's the percentage? So his yearly, you know what I'm saying, what is his net worth? Because if for him that little pocket, if it's just pocket change to him, then you know, for some people,
Barstool, the sports betting app,
$100 million.
These days.
Yeah, so if he's giving her what, $500,000, that's chump change to him, right?
Yeah.
But the issue was the fact that why does she still have access to your account? Whether
the account part is
you know, like a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that go through these, a lot of these celebrities or even just people in general, where they were elementary school sweethearts and they literally rode through the mud together. And it just led me to think, will Black people really do this, or is this a white person thing? Because you don't really hear Black people doing these type of stuff. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I would have to know all of what she really stuck with. It's not the preference, but at this point I just see it as charity work. If it's not, you know what I'm saying, if it's just chump change to him and it's a small percentage of like his full salary or yearly, whatever, then what's in concern me? As long as the house is fine, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're good, like anticipating that I'll be making my own money, you know what I mean? Like, maybe because I could see myself maybe doing something like that. Like, if there's someone that has, supported my business, or, I don't mind pouring into people as well. So I think it depends. I would have to know the history, and like if there's boundaries, like clear set boundaries there. But yeah, that's interesting. It's not the preference, but to each his own. If it's not money that impacts him in the long run, or it's not like a big dip in their whole sum of change in their personal bank accounts, then
Okay. All right.
The woman coming in, the other shorty coming in, she better just start respecting herself and not cause any trouble. Because first of all, if she don't got that kind of money and she's coming to cause trouble, then she got a whole lot of problems that she didn't even know she got. She needs Jesus at this point in time. Like, matter of fact, Jesus will not even help her. Please.
Wait, the ex is that who?
No, the new one that's coming in. The new one that's coming in. Just
wife.
Enjoy the money. But at least don't even try to cause problem. What's the causing problem?
But I mean, I feel like we say this now, but then like it's a part of us, a small part of us that be like, why? Go and
make that kind of money and help yourself versus go and create problems with somebody else. Somebody brings you to something that is benefiting you in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And to cause trouble for what?
Right. Yeah. Because for if I had that money, I'm gonna just go ahead and just take me whatever money I can get, invest it, and go ahead and make sure I'm good to the side or whatever. If you're not really tripping about it, but I guess I just thought it was
so why are people complaining? Because these are the same people when, for example, I don't know their story. When a woman pours into a man, he said he couldn't even afford hamburgers, right? And she held him down. These are the same people who, when a woman holds a man down and he makes it and he moves on, they complain. Now you have a man who is honoring a woman who held him down. They're complaining. What do they want?
Yeah. I don't see a problem with that.
And to me, I feel like if it's somebody to be able to do that, that's somebody that I trust implicitly. And it is what it is at this point.
If you were the other woman too, I'm sure you wouldn't complain, right? Like if you were the ex-wife still getting that check, like you would not.
I would not. Absolutely not. I would not complain, and I would raise my eyebrow if I was the man's new boo thing.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
I would raise my eyebrow, but the question is, am I lacking in anything? Mm-hmm. Is her access to that bank account depriving me of anything from him?
And do I trust my partner?
Exactly. Those are things that you would have to, if you come into that situation, that you would have to think for yourself. And if you're not as healed as some of us, just let it go, because you don't think you're about to walk into a situation that you have no footing on to come and start dictating how
they're gonna.
Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it alone. Get what you're getting and leave it alone. He seems like he seems like a very fair man. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm glad that people do that. That's awesome to see. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, because there's a lot of women who've helped
held the man down,
and have gotten nothing.
Yep,
nothing.
That's
so
respect. Yeah,
good for you, sis. Good for her.
Hello. All right now. Okay, well I just want to get y'all input. That was really good, but. Thank you, Nancy, for joining us. We just had.
I was just going to say, sorry. I was just going to say, when the tables are turned around, I hope that they give the man the same, like T, the same energy. Because I remember not too long ago, I don't know which woman was trying to do this for a guy, and they almost finished that woman, saying how I gotta find that woman. They almost finished her, and I'm going, dude, like. What's the big deal? When people have been together for so long, who am I to call in that? Was I there when they arranged that? Okay, maybe I'll stay home and you go, since you are a bigger talent than I am? You know, was I there? No. So when they decide now in their divorce that, okay, this is what they are doing.
Well,
what can I do? What can I do? But just, you know, so yeah, please, I beg, let's leave these people alone.
I think it was what you said. I think that was, it does make sense now. It's probably cheaper than to do that whole divorce alimony if they had children, child support. Because ain't nobody got time. Because when you be having the divorces, man, them things be taking people out.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the amount of just lawyer fees alone is already taking you out. So there's imagine you added now the child support if you have kids, the alimony, then you got to separate the houses and the cars, and this, like, it's just too much.
It's a lot.
Maybe that was his mindset too. You know, you got to think smart.
Yeah,
I think you said she has a new partner. If you get a partner, your alimony is out.
Oh,
yeah, that's how it works. If you have a new husband, that's it. Your ex-husband cannot be giving you alimony after that.
Well, I mean, he said that even if she got a new guy, I mean, she does. He does not have a problem with it, you know. So, hey, look at Bezos. He divorced the wife, gave her billions. She take it, and now she's giving it out like it's charity
for free. Everybody.
Anyways,
that's what you call it? Bill Gates own too. Bill Gates' ex-wife.
Yeah, but they're giving away. They're giving away to like organizations,
organizations,
like causes.
Like but like they just be handing out money just anyhow like that.
Because they don't need all that money.
Organizations vet them us. And I said, Nancy should please vet those organizations for us. Let's see if they are just
actually what they've donated to one of the organizations I used to work for. So yeah.
So it's real organizations, not just their
No. It's real.
Yeah, because it's people like this. You gotta watch them.
Yeah, no, they actually do donate.
Gates say he plans to give all his money away before he
dies. Yeah, I love that.
Even Mark Zuckerberg too. He just said he'll give his money too. I think 90% of it to the Gates family, so they can.
So the Gates family
to give to other organizations,
like foundation. Sorry,
Gates Foundation. I was about to say they already have money, but hey, that's
the Gates Family Foundation.
That 10%. He and his family are good for life. Wherever
I'm saying.
And he don't got to pay taxes on that 10%.
The rich always want to help the rich. I mean, it ain't my tax bracket, but hey, dang, help us out down here, you know?
Yeah. You know that comedian Wayne? I think that's his name.
Yeah.
He got 2 baby mamas, and he reset, like, I think it was Mother's Day or something. He gave both of them, like, I think Benzes, each one, you know, like, brought them.
Oh, what? Country Wayne?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, gave them cars. More than 2. I said, go, you know, and people in the comments were like, I'm like, dude, if you got money, bro, what's the point of not spending it? You got it. Now,
especially if that baby mama is stressing you.
Exactly.
Facts.
I'm like, no, if you have it, what's the point of not spending it? Someone like, oh, she gonna go carry her other kids. They go, so what? As far your kid is being taken care of, what's your point? You know what? Like, what? Anyways, let's move on. Sorry, I just wanted to, you know, mention that to say, yeah, shout out to, you know, all those fellows who are.
Now that baby mama talk actually was something, because I'm supposed to be closing, but that just made me think about the game. I don't know if y'all, the game, the rapper from Compton or whatever, he literally did a Mother's Day post for all 5 of his kids, baby moms. So literally, like, each slide was like an SAT essay. Next slide, thank you for so-and-so. But in the whole entire post, only one of the baby moms, he was like, I'll love you forever. Or I always like, I'm in love with you or something like that. And everybody was like, woo, child, hold on. Like, if you can tell it's only one baby mama that he really still cares for, but it's just the fact that you went out your way to sit here and be doing 10-page paragraph on social media just to like give thanks to your baby moms, and everybody was just sitting here like, you got their phone number, bruh. Like, come on.
Listen, while you're on that unpopular opinion, I don't think if you are not a child, you shouldn't be saying Happy Mother's Day to anybody. Like,
if you're not a what?
If you're not the child to the woman, you shouldn't be wishing. You shouldn't be, basically, only children should be wishing their mothers Happy Mother's Day and the fathers Happy Father's Day. That's my unpopular opinion.
Only kids.
Yes. I don't see why your husband should be celebrating. Like, he's thankful that you had his children, probably while they're small, but you gotta go let your kids tell you happy Mother's
Hey,
Day.
you know that sound like T said the same thing for Christmas. You just have it. She said, "Ain't nobody should be telling nobody Merry Christmas or any of that stuff if you're not a kid."
That only makes it. It's Mother's Day. It's not Baby Mama's Day.
Oh, wow.
Let your mom though.
But you're not my mom. You're my wife. Now I can thank you for giving me my kids, but I'll wait for Children's Day and then I'll celebrate you in that aspect.
Don't piss me off. Children's Day.
No, for real, you're not my father. I'm not going to wish you no happy Father's Day. Now I'll say it and I'll appreciate you. I'll wait for Children's Day. Now I'll sing your praises.
So if you have guy friends and Father's Day is now coming up, you're not going to wish them Happy Father's Day?
I mean, I'll say Happy Father's Day, but that's just because it's courtesy, right? I'm not going to go over and beyond to celebrate Father's Day for you. You're not my father. That's literally it's called Father's Day. What business do I have celebrating you for Father's Day?
Wait.
Let your children go ahead and do that.
Woo!
Okay, that's a hot take. That's a hot take.
I totally and completely agree with you.
That's a good conversation. That is a really good conversation. I didn't see that. Well, I mean, if you end up being intimate with the nigga and you start calling him daddy, I mean, you technically got to call him wish you Happy Father's Day. Just saying.
Sure. He didn't come out his balls, so no.
Right. How did we get here?
Right?
Okay, please let me go and close.
I mean, I agree with you because, you know, half the time when somebody say Happy Father's Day and then there's no gifts that come with it, it's like, what am I supposed to do with that?
All right, now, see, you just want the gift aspect of it. People cannot just wish you and just say thank you for.
No, you're wishing for what? I got up in the morning. I do wish myself the Happy Father's Day. I kept it moving. What I need all the wishes. 20 people.
No, I think fathers should get something. I think fathers and mothers should get something
for sure
from their children and all the children.
But the children don't have no money to get nothing.
That's what I'm saying. That okay, in that time being, if you know your partner wants to do something, you know, as a placeholder, but I don't see the whole elaborate celebration for it. Just
better yet,
hang on. Hold on. Your time is coming. Your kids will celebrate you.
Or better yet, they say exact same thing you just said, but they should do it through the kids' eyes. Them to carry that tradition as they grow up.
As they grow, like we're gonna take mommy's coffee in bed or whatever thing, or we'll buy her a book and say, this is what we do for mommy for Mother's Day, or this is what we do for daddy for Father's Day. Now let them start coming up with the ideas of what they want to do. Don't stress me for Father's Day, please.
Don't stress on Mother's Day.
Wait for Valentine's Day. That's your day.
I just love a good celebration. That's me. I love it.
You like me. That's how I am.
I love any excuse to get gifts. I love any excuse for anything. So, baby, life is short, baby. Gift me and I gift you. Okay, but that's just me. I like an excuse to celebrate.
You see that? You see what you just said right there, right? Gift me and I gift you. It's fair. Then you take it someplace. Somebody will tell you it's Mother's Day. What did you get for me? If you don't go see your husband and who is not say husband, please, it's not. Let me grab this nut and don't come and piss me off. Don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? Just leave me alone where I was because I was very fine. But anyway, it's about Nancy today. Thank you, Nancy, for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
You finally remembered you were here.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Vent. Please vent. Get it out. Get it out now.
Well, like you said, thank you again, Nancy. We had an amazing conversation and chat with you, and like your story definitely. I'm speaking for me, but I'm probably on behalf of all of us. You definitely like motivated us, and it was just really like inspiring and touching. So kudos to you. You know, just from creating beautiful musical puzzles to sharing family recipes that bring people together, you really can feel how much you care about bringing cultures together, like, you know, bridging the gap. And for the viewers, for everybody, I hope her journey inspires you, whether you're dreaming of starting your own business or just looking to add more creativity to your life. And I can't wait to see how her upcoming job platform helps connect talented people across Africa. So if today's conversation meant something to you, why not spread the love, share with a friend, leave us a review, or drop a comment below. After all, the best ideas grow when we share them with others. Like I always say, share them with everybody, your mama, sister, brother, girlfriend, auntie, nephew, somebody, share with somebody. And if you want to keep up with Nancy's latest projects, head over to nancygoesdigital.com or follow her adventures on Instagram at nancy.konjo. Thank you for hanging out with us at Pine Wine Central. Stay curious, stay real, and keep growing.
Oh, thank you. That was so sweet. I appreciate y'all for having me. Like, this was dope. This was really fun. So yeah, anytime y'all need me to come back, happy to do so.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll hold you to that.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I got y'all.
Yeah.
We outie.
Peace.